Wow. Look what it is. A brand new tier list video. It's been 7 fucking months. Yeah, I'm not very good at scheduling things, especially not videos. And for tier list videos, I definitely expected to do more than I actually did. But we're back. And we're better than ever. We're ready. We're more than ready. We're ready to rank the Nintendo handhelds tier list style. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going order of whatever I see first. And what I see first is the Game Boy! The good old, the beautiful, the fucking gray Nintendo Game Boy. The Game Boy is a weird one, because I have to give it its flowers, but at the same time, it sucks for everything but games. Screens shit, buttons most likely shit. It's an ugly system, and that has to be mentioned. But it really can't be anything but B tier. Putting the Game Boy in A or S would be not fair, because, you know, it kinda sucks. But putting it any lower than B would just be a fucking travesty. Next, the Game Boy Color, the sequel to the Nintendo Game Boy. Kinda. It's not really a sequel, but it's a sequel, okay? This one is kinda the same thing as the Game Boy, but it plays the Game Boy library in color! Yay! Fuck, I don't know. It's not B tier. It's better than the game. It's better than the Game Boy. A tier. Next is the Game Boy Advance. You've probably noticed that you only see the SP right now and there's no Game Boy Advanced regular. Well, that's because that's too much fucking work. And I'm a little lazy boy. But for the systems that actually had like a bunch of variations, such as the DS or the 3DS, I'm clumping all of them in with each other. So the DS is the whole DS line. The 3DS is the whole 3DS line. And the Game Boy Advance, well, you know the deal. The Game Boy Advance has a much better library of games than the Game Boy, but I don't think it did as much as the Game Boy. Fuck, this is hard. You know what? I think it deserves the A tier. Next one is an oldie but a goodie, Game & Watch. Now, the image I have of the Game & Watch right now is the 35th anniversary, Mario Game & Watch. But I mean this as every Game & Watch. Ever. And there was a lot of them. A surprising amount, actually, but, whatever. The Game & Watch series is one I don't personally have any recollection of. Actually, with most of these systems, I don't have any recollection of them because I'm a little fucking German boy. Disclaimer, I don't have any connection with the old Game Boys. I don't have any of that. I wasn't born in that generation, but I can still objectively rate them based on how much enjoyment I've actually seen from them and not just nostalgia. So I'm not really well versed in the Game & Watch series, but I've played some fucking ball on my 35th anniversary one. It's obviously a time killer, though. This is not a real game handheld. It's more of just a calculator. But I don't think any of the Game & Watch games were ever bad, because Nintendo still kept a level of quality throughout all the Game & Watch line, which made a lot of the games very fun and addicting. But it is, an LCD screen game, so you're not really gonna get any magic out of it. There's no The Link's Awakening. It's just D tier. Now, the Game Boy Micro.
What is this? What the fuck is that? What is that? What is that?
The Game Boy Micro is a Game Boy Advance, just really fucking small. And it can't play any Game Boy or Game Boy Color games. What's the point?
This is just a part of the Game Boy Advance line. You said you'd clump all of them together.
And yeah, I hear you. Here's the thing. I don't really view this as a Game Boy Advance. I view this as its own little thing, even though it's not. But yeah, this is its own thing. So I will grade it as its own thing. And as its own thing, it kinda sucks. Like, it's a good Game Boy Advance player, but that's really all it is. And you can't really say that for the Game Boy Advance because it plays your Game Boy games. really well. And also, the Game Boy Micro might just be the most gimmicky gimmick Nintendo has ever done. And sure, if you want to play specifically Game Boy Advance games for about the same price as a GBA SP, I mean, yeah, it will do that. But if you do already have a Game Boy Advance, it's gonna end up as a display piece. So I'm putting this thing in C tier because it doesn't just play, LCD games, but it definitely does not deserve to be in any of these other categories. The Virtual Boy! Everyone's favorite system that we all remember. Is there anything to talk about? Like, I'm dead serious. There's nothing I can say about this thing that hasn't already been said a million times over. Want to know why? Because there's only 3 things to say about this. It gives you headaches, it's red and black for some reason, and it sucks. F tier. The 3DS is a weird system because it has one of the most extensive and consistently great line of video games of any system ever. And I think it's also the prettiest of any system ever released. By Nintendo, of course. It's just a beautiful color, it's a beautiful system, and it's just, oh fuck. I'm sorry. I have to give the 3DS an S tier. And same thing with the DS. I think the DS definitely deserves an S tier as well. I mean, for the DS, I basically have the same things to say about it that I do about the 3DS. Just like, without the 3D effect. And in my opinion, I like the DS system more than the 3DS. So I do think it's more deserving of an S tier. But
I really do love the Nintendo DS. Let me just... Oh, look, my favorite game! Wow, look. Oh, it's so interact. Look. Wow. Oh no, I dropped the stylus. No! That's my comically large bowl of rice wine vinegar. You weren't supposed to see that.
And lastly, the big bahungamunga. The Nintendo Switch. S tier. Thanks for watching!
I keep your hoe upstairs. When she wanna fuck, I just tell her ring the bell. Hit her from the back, she can't do nothing but yell. If she smart as fuck, I got this bitch straight out of Yale. Yeah. And you know I'm high as fuck, my eyes just red, but it was just pale. If it's up, then